Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Tuesday Night Knit Chat. My name is Noelle, and this is my friend
Kelly.
And we are coming to you from southwestern Ontario in a very chilly
Record-breaking
Canada
cold snap.
at the moment. Yes, it's very
Yes.
cold. But we're all nice and warm in our woolies, and we're here. We're glad that you're here joining us from all over. I'm sure there's lots of other places, although Carmen, obviously not where you are because you're from a very hot day in New Zealand, but I'm sure there's lots of people across, even I think a lot of places in the States are having cold snaps. And,
Yes.
But Ross said today, like, honestly, really, this is just what winter used to be like. I remember this. Yes, it did. We've just had a couple of years where it's been milder, and now we think, oh, it should be milder. But, and realistically for us, like we're complaining about the snow, but we really didn't have a lot of snow until probably 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I'm ready for it to be done. So
I like the snow, so I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's so pretty. I mean, I don't have to shovel it, and I don't have to drive in it. I'm retired, so
that's right.
I didn't like driving in it, but anyway. But anyway, welcome to everybody. So we hope wherever you are, you're staying warm, either because your temperature's warm or because you're all wrapped up in your woolies.
Yeah, and your furnace is working.
And your furnace is working.
Your heating system. Yes,
yeah, but thanks for joining us, and we're happy to be here. And
I think Mary Ruth got us kicked off last night because I had to get everything set up last night because I'm, as I said, back to work. So I have no time on a Tuesday to be doing these things. So I popped on there last night and set the podcast up, and Mary Ruth was quite excited. She goes, wow, it's open early. We can chat all day. So there were some chatters in there throughout the day. So thank you for joining us early if you were tailgating the show. And we're just happy to be here. Happy.
Yeah. Yes. Very happy to be here. So, okay. So yeah, already, we talk about the time passing and already a week's up. Like, how did that happen? I don't think I have the knitting to show that a week's up.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you do. Pretty sure you do.
I have some, but we were, my son and daughter-in-law are moving. So I've had Penelope for a couple of days.
And that does cut into knitting time.
She is so much fun though. She's so much fun. I just some of the things that like that kind of that age between 2 and 3 when they're just like talking so much, and some of the things she knows, I can't believe it. I'm like, how do you know that? So, but you also got to watch your language and watch what you talk about.
That's right. That's right.
But anyway, yeah, but I really enjoyed having her. So, and I gave her little pieces of yarn and she carried around the house calling it her knitting.
Oh, how cute. Yeah. How cute is that? Yes.
So, but
I'm just looking, I'm just watching the comments here. Mm-hmm. EJ is saying that it's below freezing even in Dallas.
Yeah. Yep.
Very cold and snowy in Missouri.
Well, I know I took Penelope out for a little bit the one day, and honestly, like I totally forget when my kids were small how long it takes you to get them into a snowsuit, and have the covers over top of the boots and get their mitts all tucked in and get their hat and stuff on. And I'm like, for like 20 minutes outside, I think it was half an hour getting the stuff on.
Yeah, and then by the time you do all of that, you're already tired out, and you're like, well, done for that. Yes.
So
actually, there's a comment in here. Look at this. Aya is saying that they had, I don't know if I pronounced that right.
Oh, wow.
That's nice. They had a 9-year-old knitter at their knit night today. She said she was a pro. Wow. That's starting young.
Yep.
Isn't that exciting to hear, though?
Yep.
Yes. Keeping the art alive.
Well, I was knitting at that point, but I didn't belong to any knitting groups.
I admitted to Noelle just before the show, I've not done this before other than our PJ night, but I said I came home from work today. I had on a really heavy sweater and I wanted to put on a little bit lighter sweater. So I went upstairs to change and I thought, I'm going to just put on pajamas after the show anyway. So I'm in PJ pants. And then Noelle said, she's often in PJs every week.
Almost every week. It's either PJ pants or sweatpants. Like what's on the bottom, you don't want to see.
So it's business on top, party down below.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So we're already halfway to cozy. And I'm guessing that there might be a few of you out there that are similarly attired, if not fully in PJs. So if you are, welcome. Embrace the cozy. Embrace the cozy.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So where do we want to start?
Well, okay. We've got, there's like lots of odds and sods tonight. And I've got a few little things here that are like somewhat related, but maybe first, before we get into Q&A, if we could take like a trip back in time to last week, I just wanted to show this. We were talking fairly at length about how somebody asked how we got started knitting.
Yeah.
What was our, kind of how we arrived at where we are today. And I had been talking about something that I went to the cupboard and I dug out because I was so proud of this. I said that when I was an early knitter, like as a teenager, I went to this local store. It was a fabric store / yarn store in a beautiful building, but very limited supply, as we know. And I was living in a very small town in Nova Scotia. But anyway, what I bought was this set of needles, and I thought, this is it. I have arrived as a knitter. I am going to be knitting for the rest of my life with these tools. It was an investment for a teenage girl of babysitting money at $33.99. I remember that specifically. And I just wanted to show it to you. I still have it. Look at this. It's in a tapestry.
It's cover. Pretty.
It is very pretty. It is.
Yep.
It's very senior looking. Anyway, I'll just show you my exquisite case of needles. Hopefully they don't come tumbling out, because I'm guessing that the elastics are probably a little dried out. I already see some of the needles are slipping. But yeah, so that's what I was knitting on when I started as a teenager. And that's it. And then the other thing too, I talked about the fact that I taught myself mostly to knit, other than the knitting and purling that my mom taught me. And this was the book that I used. And I think somewhere on here there was a price, yes, of $1.95 by Crown Publishers, 800 stitch patterns. I did not do all 800, but I did work my way through and do quite a few. And that's sort of how I learned to knit. And this is what we did before the internet.
That's right. That's right. So
this is how we learned. And then at the back of the book was crochet. And that's how I learned to crochet. But as you could see, if we go back to here, every crocheting diagram is a right-handed crochet.
Okay.
I am a left-handed crocheter. So I had to take all of these patterns and flip them in the opposite direction, because as a lefty, you'll be going in the opposite direction. So anyway, that was just a little recap of my knitting history. Sarah is saying that somebody donated to her school that exact case of needles. Well, you're not getting this one, Sarah. I'm going to hang on to this for posterity purposes. So, okay.
I honestly can't. I cannot actually remember the last time I used straight needles.
I know.
Oh, I know. I did. I used them when I did that sweater for Jacqueline, because they had a size 7 or a 7.5, and I didn't have that in the interchangeable.
Yeah, it would just feel. They would be so.
It does.
Heavy,
it feels awkward.
It is so heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. There's a few comments in here I didn't want to miss. Let's go back. Yeah, Judy's saying, how did we do it with those straight needles?
I know.
Elaine has the same set. She keeps it for the memory as well. I know someday my kids will be complaining about the things I keep from memory. Jean says that she has an old crochet set in the same packaging. I'm sure. I mean, that was put out by, I think it was Arrow, right? Wasn't it?
Yes, probably.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was Arrow, because I think they were pretty much the only knitting company. Or no, I stand corrected. This is the wrong glasses on to read this, friends. Charmin. Not the toilet paper, the knitting needles. It's called Charmin. So anyway, that's what I had. And yes, Aya is saying, thankfully, we now have circular needles. Thank goodness. Yes, that sweet little 9-year-old will not have to endure these long needles.
No, but you know what? I still think it's easiest to learn on straights.
Yeah,
because it keeps your like your fabric isn't going on to this, so it's easier with tension. Yeah, I mean, I think most of mine were arrows. And then, of course, it was back then, too, when we were knitting. It was like British measurements, American measurements, and metric measurements. Right?
Yes.
So not only
Plus, okay, no, finish up that thought.
No. I'm just saying, because I know most of the ones that I started with were my mom's, which she brought with her from Ireland, which all had the original British measurements on them before everything changed to metric, and so which were opposite, I think, in the way they went to US.
Yes.
Like US got smaller as I don't know. I just know they were opposite, and you had to have like a chart that had like 3 different conversions on it for metric US
right.
Yeah.
And but bearing in mind, it may not have been as difficult for us to be knitting on those straight needles because every single sweater we ever knit was knit in pieces. So we were never really dealing with an entire sweater hanging off of a circular set of needles the way we do today. We were knitting pieces. We were knitting those gargantuan sleeve wedges, and then the fronts and the backs, and then stitching everything together with that clever mattress stitch, right? So we knit things, we approach things differently. So so Isabel's saying she has the same book. I'm hanging on to mine too, Isabel. $1.95. I'll never get a deal like that again.
I know. I have some books down there that are, they're like, you look at even some of the old patents books.
Yes.
Just like the little books that like cost next to nothing and had 7 or 8 patterns in them.
Yes. And plus you bought it and then you shared it with your friends, right? It was okay to do that. They weren't proprietary. So, okay. So there was that. There was that to get out of the way. And before I get into the next thing, did you have some questions?
Yes.
This week? Okay.
Yes, a lot.
Oh, a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there was a question in here earlier about my snow washing. Hold tight on that. I've imported my little video and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. So you jump into some questions.
Okay. So first one was a viewer had finished, I believe it was it was a sweater. I can't remember the designer, but anyways, we went to block it and she put it in her washing machine just to rinse and spin, and lo and behold, it felted.
Oh dear.
So she asked what she could do to try, if there's anything she could do to kind of get it back. If it's not too far gone, I know that a friend has done this before where you kind of wet it and pull it out, like wet it. Don't like just kind of pat water out of it and then try to pull it back into shape. No agitation whatsoever. Try and pull it back into shape, but don't try and stretch it too much. And then like let it dry. And then if it's still not where it was, try that again a couple of times. And my friend actually did get hers back to where the sweater was wearable again. So it all degrees on the amount of felting that's been done. If it's a super amount, like if where the fibers are actually stuck together, it's probably not going to happen, but you could try that. And I know I've said before, even the way why my washing machine is, I will not put it in even just to spin, because I've had certain yarns felt on me doing that. So I do everything, just soak it, wrap it in towel. Well, I do squeeze out. I don't wring. I do squeeze out what I can.
Okay.
And then I put it in the towels, roll it up, and I step on the towels till you get as much water out as you can, and then lay it out. And I haven't had any problems that way. So.
Okay. I've heard of another technique. I haven't tried it, so I can't attest to its truthfulness. And I found it on the internet. So again, not willing to attest for truthfulness, but I have read that if you do what you're saying to do, but instead of soaking it in water, soak it in milk.
Okay. And Tracy had said she heard of hair conditioner too. Hair conditioner.
Okay.
So, or diluted milk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely worth trying if it's, if the sweater's not going to be wearable. And then she asked, like, if she could pull it out and use it again. I would think if it's to the point where you could actually pull it out, you should be able to get some more.
I think so too.
Out of it.
Definitely.
Like you should be able to get it stretched out at least a bit. So. Mm-hmm. Okay. The next question was about pattern storage. So I actually have my Ravelry account up here, and I'll show you. Just like I have all my yarn is in Ravelry, I also have all my patterns in Ravelry, and you can add all sorts of patterns to Ravelry. There's the ones that you actually buy directly from Ravelry, but if you have books that you've purchased, if you've got individual patterns that you've purchased, if you've got magazines that you've purchased, you can add them all to Ravelry, and then you can actually do a search in your Ravelry library. So I'll just bring this up and show you. Okay, so here's my Ravelry homepage. So if you go over to your notebook section, you can go down and there's a tab called Library. So when I go to that, it actually brings up all of the patterns that I've got in my library. So if you look over here, I can go and I've got my books in there, so I can click on books and
it looks like you downloaded Audrey Borrego's entire.
I did. We never know. They could get taken off.
Yes.
So anyways, and then I've also got like booklets. Now they don't have a picture, but they're all listed what the booklets are. And then I've also got all my magazines. So like all the Vogue knitting magazines, I had all these interweave knit magazines, right? So you just, and I find it's good to have this, because if you find a pattern that you want to do and you know that it was in a magazine, it's a lot easier to find the magazine if you can see the front cover of it.
Absolutely.
So, and then, to add a pattern to your library, so you could just go add items to my library. And if it's a book, you just put in the title or author here and you do a search for it. Now, if you, let's say you buy a pattern, so let's go back to patterns here. So let's just say I bought this snowy season cardigan, and I'll put it in my Ravelry now, even though I don't have it, I'll take it out later. So I can go over here and I can just do, where we go? Up here, add to library. Okay. Yes. So it's telling me, are you sure that you want to add this? Because I haven't bought it on Ravelry, but let's say I bought it somewhere else and I own it. So I can go, yes, I own it. Now, once that's in there, I can actually go up to here where it says click to edit details. And so let's say I just had a digital copy. So I can go into edit notes and I can put in here, okay, it's in Knit Companion. So I could put it's in Knit Companion and I could write anything that I wanted about it. Or let's say I've got a specific binder where I keep these in. I could then put in here, it's in binder A, which holds all my DK weight patterns or something. So that way, when you go to look for it, not only can you see that you've got that pattern, you can also see where you've stored it yourself. So yeah, so that's the easiest way that I found to do it. And like I said, I can go in and I can find, like if I've got a magazine and something's in a magazine, you can also go in and you can actually search just the patterns that you've got. You go into your library and you hit advanced search and you can find just something from, just patterns that are in your library. You can narrow the search criteria just like you do with looking for anything else to the yarn type that it is, the needle size, the gauge, and you can go through all the patterns that you own and see if you can find something that way.
Yes. So. And also there's this comment as well, that sometimes when you buy a book by a specific designer and they know that you've purchased the book, like if you've bought it from their website, they will also send you the book in PDF format. And that's useful if, again, for purposes of storing on your Ravelry library, but also if you're a user of Knit Companion, like we both are, then we definitely want it in PDF. That saves us the time of having to photograph the pages and turn them into PDF so that we can have it in our Knit Companion. So,
Okay. So next question, there was a couple of questions about steeking. I think the best thing to do if you're steeking, there's lots of tutorials out there on it. There's different methods of doing it. Some people do a reinforcing stitch. I felt it and then just cut up the middle, but think about what you want to try and go onto YouTube and you can find a tutorial using that specific method.
You can crochet it as well.
Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. Your knitting does not want to unravel this way. Your knitting, like if you drop a stitch, it goes down, it unravels this way, but it does not necessarily want to unravel this way. So those is pretty stable when you cut it. Now, a lot of that will depend on the type of yarn.
On the type of yarn, yes.
And that was the second question, was about, can you steek? Like even if a pattern doesn't call for a steek, can you steek it? And yes, you're just going to put in those steek stitches in the middle. You can I usually put 7, depending on the yarn that you're using with. If it's a fingering weight yarn, I probably put 7. If it's a worsted weight yarn, I might only put 5.
5, yeah.
Right, just to give you that width.
And the reason you want an odd number is because that stitch row in the middle, that's the one you're going to cut. That one. And you cut up into the stitch, like not on either side of a stitch. You're going to cut through the stitch all the way up.
Yeah. So, and as far as can you do anything, I would say your criteria is more the yarn you're using as opposed to what pattern you're doing. It's going to be much more difficult with a superwash yarn because it's slippery. Acrylic, I've never tried. I honestly have no idea how that would work. But if you're using 100% wool yarn, you should have no problem with steeking whatever you're working on.
Yep.
Okay.
Barb had a question, but then I see Jess has answered it.
Okay.
I think that's a great answer, Jess.
Okay.
Barb was asking if, for instance, you bought the pattern in Etsy, how do you get it in there? And Jess is saying that when you say you own it, the photo will be there for you in your library, and then you will state where you have it located, whether it's on Etsy or, you know, in your own, in a library somewhere else. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then someone had asked whether or not we had tried washing Super Soft before using it. I have not. I knit it right from the cone or right from the cake and do all the blocking afterwards. Some people have, like I've heard that people do. If it's off the cone, even if it's in the cake, you've got to kind of wind it into hanks in order to be able to wash it.
Wash it.
So I have not had a problem with any color work that I've done with Super Soft. But again, that can depend on your water type. Like I don't want to say definitively if you use a dark and a light color together that you're not going to get any bleeding. Because just because I haven't doesn't mean that you won't, because water sources everywhere are different. Whatever type of soap you use to do that blocking in is different. So I would definitely do a test swatch if you're worried about colors bleeding. I think it's fine if you want to wash it before you. I just personally, for me, that's another step that would take more time.
Yeah.
So, kind of like swatching.
Yeah. And I just want to get into it, right? So
yeah. Okay. Next question was about anybody know of a mohair that seems to be less fluffy?
Nope,
I think if you're looking for something that's less fluffy, you need to go to something like like a fine weight alpaca, like the Timecodes. That will give you a little bit more. What would you say? You're going to get a little bit of a halo, but not like what you get with.
Or you can go with something like Yarn Indulgences. Deborah dyes the Surrey alpaca. That is
the same. Yeah, it's the same weight as the mohair.
Same weight as a mohair.
Yardage as the mohair.
But it doesn't and it's fluffy like a mohair, but it doesn't shed like
the mohair. Yeah.
I can't reach it. There's one up there. Sorry.
I know I have one, but it's in a Ziploc bag upstairs.
Yes.
Yes. But anyways, yes, that would be a good choice. I guess it depends if you're replacing the mohair because it's fluffy or because it's itchy. If it's itchy, then you're going to want to go to something that doesn't have a mohair in it.
Yes.
And
Tracy's making a good point too. Yes. She says that the higher the silk content, then that mohair gets thinner. And that's true too. Like there are
and softer. I found that most of the ones, the higher the silk content, the softer the mohair.
Yeah. And there's different price points of mohair too, right? I mean, they're just like every other yarn. So you generally, if you're buying a yarn that has less silk content, it's less money, but then that you are getting what you get. And having said that, I have knit with very cheap mohairs and I have knit with very expensive mohairs. And I can feel the difference when the sweater is done. Absolutely, I can. But I don't have an aversion to mohair, so I'm okay with that. But I do really like that Surrey, that Deb is dyeing, that looks and feels like a mohair, looks like a mohair but doesn't feel like a mohair. It is so incredibly soft. So I really do like that.
I just find that with your mohairs too, like even though it does get more expensive, the more silk content that's in it, it's also more yardage. So like if you look at most 25 gram balls of mohair are about 200 meters, I think. But if you go up into the ones that are 40, you get maybe 260. So it is a little bit thinner, but then you do get more yardage. And I haven't found that it makes really a whole lot of difference in your finished garment.
Right.
So, okay, next question was, again, this is about gauge and how to fix something once it's already done. But this viewer knit a sweater in Let Lopi. It has a colored yoke, so a pattern in the yoke. However, her yoke has actually turned out bigger than the rest of the sweater. Now she used the ladder back jacquard technique and wondered if that might have something to do with it. I've used that technique. I use that technique actually quite frequently and haven't found that it's made any difference in the yoke. But your sweater's already done at this point. I guess I would try, when you block it, like to kind of not do too much at this part as far as spreading it out, but try and spread out the bottom of your garment.
Be a little more aggressive with the body of the sweater. Yes.
Yeah. That's the only thing that I can think about. If in the future, when you go, if you're finding that with your color work, probably the best thing to do when you're doing the garment is go down a needle size when you get to the color work portion, if you find that it's coming out consistently big. And that is opposite to what most people find. Most people do find that their color work actually tightens up their gauge. So again, I guess in that case, it would probably be a good idea to do a swatch just to see what gauge you're getting with the.
I'm wondering if in her sweater, if it was, some patterns actually tell you to go up a needle size when you're knitting the color work, and not that isn't for everyone, because not everybody's gauge changes.
And I don't go up when it says
yeah, and I often don't either. So I'm wondering if that was the situation, and perhaps she is a knitter whose gauge doesn't change in color work, and that's what resulted in the sweater yoke being a little bit larger.
Yeah. So okay, and then the last question I had about it was about a pair of toe-up socks that were knit, but the foot is 20 rows too long. Can you cut it and change it? Yes, you can, but you're going in the opposite direction to what you would normally do for like, it's a lot easier to rip back from the direction that you're going as opposed to go down to the bottom. It can be done, but the best thing to do would be go through, pick up your stitches, and you're actually going to have to cut the knitting off.
Yes.
Like it's difficult to unravel in that direction. So you're going to have to cut the knitting off, but then you can join new yarn and you can knit down, and you might see a little tiny bit there where you can see a little bit of difference, but it's better than ripping out the whole sock and having to do the whole sock all over again.
Yeah, for sure.
So you could just put your needle in where you need that toe to start. And then all you'll have to do after you take those out is re-knit the toe, and you go in the opposite direction to do the toe. So, okay. That was it for questions.
Okay. So something that I did this long weekend since winter came back to us this year, and I have an abundance of snow in my backyard, is I did some snow washing for my sweaters. And I posted a little video on Instagram, and I've brought the video in here. So I'll show the video first. It's 40 seconds long. I will do that first, and then we'll chat about snow washing.
Welcome to a Canadian wash day. We've had so much snow this weekend, and conditions are perfect for giving our hand knit sweaters a refresh. Lay your sweaters on top of fresh, clean snow and press gently. Cover with more snow and press again. Let your sweaters enjoy their snow day while you head inside for a cozy tea break. After a half hour, brave the Canadian elements and go back out to grab your sweaters. Be sure to give them a good shake. You can hang or lay out your sweaters to dry completely before storing away. Happy snow day!
Okay.
I've never done that.
You've never done that. Yeah, because you like to sit inside and enjoy your snow. You've got to get out there, Noelle. Anyway, so snow has, because of the way the ice crystals are, it has these natural washing properties, and wool loves to be cared for this way. So basically what it does is it refreshes, and it can clean. I mean, it's not, if there's a stain on your sweater or something that has to be washed out, it's not going to clean that, but it's going to clean just basically anything that's been sitting there on the sweater, like, just surface wear and tear. Because I don't know if you're like me, I think most people are like us, excuse me, you're not washing your sweaters every single time you're wearing them, right? You can go several wears in between washing. And I mean, if you're wearing it over a shirt like this, I mean, this never even touches my skin, right? So I basically laid it all out, and as you said, I put the snow on top, packed it all down, and then just left it out there for half an hour. And somebody in here mentioned earlier that they have dogs. Okay, I don't recommend it if you have dogs to be leaving your knitwear out in the backyard, or, I have squirrels, and I was a little bit worried, but the snow was too deep for the squirrels, so I thought they'll be fine. But here's what I have to say about that. So after you shake everything out, the sweaters are still, they're a little bit wet or damp. You can hang them. I just laid mine out on my bed. I have a ceiling fan in my bedroom. I turned it on high, closed the door from the cat, and just left the sweaters there. Went back about a half an hour later, flipped them over. And let me tell you, by the time I put them away later that day, it's like that smell of bringing in fresh sheets off the laundry line. Everything smelled so good. And the sweaters were like extra puffy and just like new life breathed into them. It really made a difference, because some of the sweaters that I put out there, I haven't even worn in a while. So, like sometimes when they're sitting mine are all on a sweater shelf, and they kind of get a little bit compressed. So they look, a little flat and everything. But after they came out of the snow and they dried, they were just like brand new again. It was really, really a good experience. So I know that not everybody has snow. We have an abundance of it this year. So this is the perfect time to do it. Tracy mentioned she does this as well, but she also turns hers inside out.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And that way you get the extra refresh. But honestly, it's an amazing thing to do for your sweaters, and they love it. Somebody else mentioned to me, I think it was on Instagram, they said, yeah, but don't they smell kind of like wet mitts after? No, they do not. They just smell fresh and like that outside.
But that's like smell. Even when you block your sweater, you can smell that smell of wet wool when they're blocking, but then when they're dry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So maybe I'll try that. I have a pool in my backyard, but there is lots of snow on top of the pool cover.
You can walk on your cover too, right?
Yeah, you can walk on the cover. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to put that much snow on top either. And like, it's perfect right now because it was still really fresh in our backyard, and those are the days to do it. And then I've read some people are concerned, oh, what if it's sunny out there? But trust me, with our cold temperatures that we have this week, that sun is not melting anything out there. And like I said, I left them out there probably for a half hour, 45 minutes. They were completely fine. So, yeah.
Well, Penelope and I took one of Ross's hats outside for the snowman. So I'll take a check on it and see how it.
There you go. And it doesn't have to be just your sweaters either. Maybe you want to do all your laundry.
It'd be great for shawls.
It would be good for shawls, hats, especially because hats do get a little more wear and tear on our heads. So maybe flip those inside out, throw those out there in the snow as well. But anyway, I highly recommend, if you are in a snowy area, give it a try. I think you'll be really happy with how good your sweaters feel, and they will thank you for it. All right.
So, should we talk about what we're wearing?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, I am wearing my Calm Down cardigan by Lily Kate France. I finished this one before Valentine's Day. I did wear it. Ross and I went out for lunch on Valentine's Day, so I did wear it out for lunch on Valentine's Day. And I just have a couple of pictures here, since I'm not standing up because I have my old Navy sweatpants on the bottom. So here's just a couple of pictures in there. See, we do have a lot of snow out in the backyard. This was. That was even before the big dump of snow. Yeah. And then there's just a close up to show like the 3 buttons on it. And it's got kind of that little notched hem that just falls away at the bottom of the cardigan. And the pattern was very well written. I did shorten the length of the armhole. And I did mine in Di Gilpin's Lallan. The colorway is Flame, that I got at the Knitting Loft. And I am in love with this yarn. It feels absolutely amazing after it was blocked. I know I had brought it to the coffee shop to show everybody, but it wasn't blocked yet.
That's right.
It was already soft without being blocked, but it's just, I can't even describe it. It just feels like really good. And that's for like a non-super wash. It is 100% lamb's wool, and it comes in colors that are not so bright, but it also comes in some nice bright colors. And
very nice.
It took a little bit, I wouldn't say getting used to, but it did. Once I realized that it did split easily, I just paid more attention to it and found that as I got more into it, it didn't split nearly as much. So really enjoyed it. The pattern, I would do the pattern again. It's got lots of nice little details.
Even that double knit, the band.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. Actually, it wasn't that bad. It was bad while I was knitting it, but once I was done, it's not like having a baby. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I'll do it again. It was great. It was grand. Yeah.
Someone asked what the yarn was. It's dye Gilpin Lowland. So I believe that it comes in, this is like a DK weight, and it's a light DK because it's, I think it's like 175 meters and 50 grams. Okay. And I also believe it comes in a worsted weight, but I'm not positive on that. So.
Okay. Julia is saying that Bruna says this is her favorite yarn.
Yes. Yeah.
And Bruna of the Knitting Loft, we should say. Yes.
So it is. It's
very nice. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Nice. So I do have a couple more sweater quantities. So.
What other colors do you have?
Anyway, can I write the name down? Yes, I'll write it down here.
What other colors do you have?
I have one called Hickory.
Okay, pretty.
And then I have one. It's like a
nutty,
like a hickory
chestnut. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I've got one called, what's it called? Sea Thrift, which is like a bright pink. And then I've got one called Chartreuse, which is a limey green, which the bright pink and the lime I want to do like a toasted tea with for the summer. Well, I shouldn't say summer, for like spring. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Very nice.
So, okay. So you talk and I'll type this in.
Oh, okay. I thought you had it typed. All right.
No, I can't talk and I have to use my hands when I'm talking.
Sarah's already got it typed in for you.
Oh, does she? Okay.
How about I just show hers?
Yep.
There we go. So Dye Gilpin Lowland.
Yep.
Okay. So everybody got that? Grab a photo or something. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
And I am wearing the, oh shoot, I didn't make a banner.
I'm wearing the
Deep Dean sweater by Beth McDonald Stone. I do have photos though, but I didn't make a banner and I can't change it because you've changed it now.
Okay.
Seems like once we change it once,
there's no going back. Type it in.
Pardon me, I can't get to the photos. You've changed the banner.
You can't get to the photos. Okay. There you go.
So I knit this using the Estelle Eco Tweed, and the color is Vine. I love this sweater because it was a test knit that I did for Beth, and it's kind of like a sampler sweater or like a Gansey knit. There's lots of different very simple stitch patterns through the yoke. Everything is a combination of knits and purls, but it's just in a variation of stitches. And I can't say enough good things about this yarn. I knit a size 2 and I used 2.7 skeins of this. I bought this yarn at the Little Red Mitten. It is very economical yarn and I really love it. It has these like little tweed bumps in it, but the neps are very integrated into the sweater. So I felt no need to be picking at them while I was knitting. And it is a DK wool, but it is like such a light combination because it must be wool and spun. It has to be because of how light and fluffy it is. It's 50% wool, 25% alpaca, and then 25% tencel, which is a tree fiber. And I keep saying I want to get more of this yarn and make another sweater because I liked it so much. And obviously I don't know what the yardage is in it, but it must be really good yardage.
I don't know.
Took under
I know I have that color.
Do you have this color? Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it before you, but I still haven't knit it yet.
Oh,
because I got it before Little Red Mitten had it because they carried it at Wool and Silk Co.
Oh, okay.
Wool and Silk and
Yes.
So I think I have that and I have like a silver gray. It is very nice. I need to get knitting with it.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice. And I really enjoyed this, just the whole shape of this sweater. I wear this one a lot. And this is one of the ones that I had out in the snow yesterday. So I don't know if you could smell it there in the internet land, but it smells so fresh.
So,
all right.
Okay. So moving on. Do you have any finishes?
I do. I do have a finish.
Okay.
How many do you have?
Well, I have some little socks and I have 3. I'll just count the socks as just one. They're just one.
Okay. So you start because I have one finish and I have an addendum to a finish.
Okay. So I finished 4 more. These are the Perfect Tree Socks by Summer Lee. I just got to find my banner. Okay, why can't I find them? This things were going too well. I knew this was going to happen. The Tiny Tree Socks by Summer Lee. So there's my first one. These ones, all of these ones are actually knit with Koigu. So there's one. That one I just did alternating contrast.
That's a pretty colorway. I like that green colorway.
It is. It's really pretty. And then this is another one. And that's very just nice. A straight knit one with the Koigu. Same with this one.
Very cute.
Their colors are pretty. And then this one is the Koigu, but I took a double strand of mohair and did mohair, just a little tiny bit of mohair around the top, and then put the little mohair, looks like little snowflakes in it. And these I'm going to show you. These are just so darn cute. Look at these little skeins of Koigu. So I was at a retreat.
Where did you find that?
I was at a knitting retreat that was put on by Shall We Knit when they were still in the
London,
Kitchener area.
Kitchener. Okay.
Yep. And Koigu was one of the sponsors of the retreat, and we got all these little. They
look like those little earrings we have.
They're like beans. It says they're 10 meters, 10 meters.
Oh, 10 meters. Okay. Not even 10 grams, 10 meters.
No, 10 meters. But I do one sock and I have enough left to do like the heel and toe of another sock.
You're kidding. Out of 10 meters.
No, I'm not. Well, it says it's 10 meters. I don't know for sure that it's actually 10 meters.
Okay.
I didn't measure it, right? Then I've still got this one. And then here's that one, that green. That was the green that I did it's just got that little tiny fleck of. But they're really pretty. So I thought like, I'll do another one like that, but then I'll put like, or I'll do one this and I'll put the dark in for the heels and toes on it. So I didn't know what I was ever going to do with these. So there you go. Perfect for them. So, okay. And I'm right on schedule. I have done, I have to do 120. I've done 21 so far.
Okay.
So I don't even have 100 left to do. I only have 99 left to do.
Is anybody else thinking 99 bottles of beer on the wall? 99 bottles of beer.
I'll just sing that. Every time I do one.
99 tiny tree socks. 99 tiny tree socks. In her, there's a song there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. I finished my cardigan. This is I have banners for this. This I do have. My Lowrider cardigan by Iron Lamb. And I do not have any photos of me wearing it yet because it's been so dang cold. And here's the thing about crocheting. It doesn't block, or I can't block it and dry it like overnight the way I can with a knit sweater, because crochet stitches are a lot denser.
Yeah.
This baby took 2 days to dry underneath a ceiling fan in the spare room. But there it is.
Looks really good.
And I absolutely love it. It looks
really good.
It's like, it's got nice drape to it. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a little heavier than like a normal sweater.
Yeah.
I use the Holst Super Soft, and I've now made 2 sweaters from this cone, friends.
I know, never ending.
I still have 200 grams on here, so there could be a third sweater out of this. This was the color silver gray, and I held it with mohair from Knit Picks called Aloft, and the squares. Where are we here? There we go. The squares are the whole super soft, the silver gray in the middle, bleached white. Crocus is the next color, and graphite, and then back out to a silver gray. And I did that whole granny square still holding the gray mohair with each strand. So the bleach white is not very white at all. But I love how like the gradient looks on this.
Yeah.
And then even
I like the bands, how the bands.
Okay, that's where I was headed next, is like the way that you crochet to make it look knitted. Now, for the first time ever, when I blocked, just because this is so dense, normally when I block super soft, I actually just block it using the soak. But this time, because the stitches for crochet were so dense, I thought maybe it does need a little extra softening because I wanted it to be nice and drapey. I didn't want, because it is so dense, I didn't want it to be a stiff fabric at all. So I actually did add a little bit of hair conditioner this time too.
Okay.
And I left it soaking a long time. In fact, I kind of forgot about it. So it was maybe in there for about 2 hours. It was fine. So then I just kind of lightly squeezed it out, put it in the towel, did the towel thing, and then laid it out on the blocking boards. So modifications, none. I did no modifications, but and look at the raglan on this. It's so cool the way it's constructed. But since I could not get the gauge, so this was recommended to be the gauge would be five double crochet groups to 4 inches on a 4mm needle. But I ended up, because I think this somehow, even though it is a fingering weight held with a mohair, which equals a DK normally, but we know super soft is a light fingering. So this was actually falling just a little bit shy of, so I had to do 5.5 groups to get my 4 inches. Okay. So what I did the math, and it was all going to work out for the entire sweater. So I wanted the measurements of a size large, which I believe is a 42-inch bust. And so I made the extra large, and I ended up with the exact gauge of the large. So that's how, and because I did swatch on a 4, which this is what I liked. And then I swatched on a 4.5, and I just felt, for me, the fabric looked a little bit loose. So I wanted to stay with a 4, and even look at the cuff on I love everything about this. This will not be my last, this was my first crochet garment. It will not be my last. And I'm really hopeful that this weekend we get some good weather, that I can go out and get some really nice photographs with this sweater, because I'm so excited. I am so excited about it. I love it. I love it. And also, I guess I was under the misconception that when you crochet, because I feel like I crochet fairly quickly, I thought, oh, I'm going to breeze through this. I'll be done this thing in a day. Not the case. Not the case at all. It still takes time to do a garment in crochet, but I absolutely love it. I highly recommend it. The pattern was very well written, keeping in mind I have never crocheted a garment before, so I would highly recommend anybody try this.
Okay. I have another chicken. So I did finish the second one. So this is the, oh, just a minute. Nope, not that. This is, okay, just a minute.
What do you got going on here?
I don't know what's happening. Here we go. There we go. Oh,
I got it. We got it.
Emotional Support Little Chickie by Annette Corsino. So it looks very similar to my last week's one, but I will show you there is 2. So other than this one, I think I did the right way. Like this little piece here, this underbelly part here goes from here to here, and then the tail gets sewn up, and this gets sewn up. On this one, I kind of got I sewed it right back to the tail, which actually looks cute too. So he just doesn't, I got to fight with him more to make him stand. But anyway, so there's 2 of them so far. So I've got to make another 5 before Easter. So this yarn is yarn that we were generously gifted by Michelle Eileen from the Woolly Family Sheep.
Yes.
Okay. And I will link that in the show notes.
Woolly Sheep Family.
Woolly Sheep Family. Yes.
There we go.
I knew it was Woolly Sheep Family. But this is the opal, and this is the 8-ply, so it's a worsted weight yarn. I can't say how much I love opal yarn.
I know, right? It's so amazing to work with.
And I have been wearing my opal socks because they go in the washing machine. I don't put them in the dryer, but they go in the washing machine, and they come out looking just fine and staying fine.
I know.
So I am going to make more opal socks. So anyway, but this is really good way to use the worsted weight, and it does all the color changing for you. So you get your little chick with all the colors in it, but you didn't have to do any work of changing any colors. So I will probably make another 3 like this, but then I'll make 2 in a different yarn so that the ones that are going to the same family are a little bit different. So
good move.
Anyway, very fun to make, super fast. The instructions are clear and easy to do. And yeah, like Penelope was already playing with them when she was here. So.
Okay. And the other thing that I did, now I'm going to have to unfold it again just to remember where I put it. So this is my quilt. We talked about this last week, so I'm not going to show you the quilt again, but I do want to show you what I added to the quilt. If I could find it, I should have had it. There it is. So I did a little stitching this week too. Now, I also have not embroidered, like done an embroidery. Oh gosh, I think I did that when I was young too. So this was a challenge. My mom would be proud. She's quite an embroiderist. An embroiderist? I don't know, what do you call it? So, oh, and I meant to show you a piece of paper. Okay, never mind. I'll talk about it. So here's what I did. I, on a piece of linen, embroidered a little saying to stitch onto the quilt. Oh, the adventures you will have. Love, Gigi, 2025. So this is going to be Miles' camping quilt. And so I added that on. And then I also added on to my quilt. I don't know if this is a thing. Here, I did this too, because I had these leather tags and I thought that looked really cute. So on the other end, I added one of the little made with love, and there's a little heart on the other side of it. So these are just little things that I added onto the quilt. So now I can actually get the quilt mailed off to him. But I don't know how other people do their embroidery. I actually also found a box that was my grandmother's little embroidery box, and it has all of these tissue iron-ons that you use for embroidery. But I meant to get these supplies out of my cupboard to show you as well. It comes in a roll, and it's just the membrane that you put on. And so basically what I did, I went into Canva and I just designed that little printing with what I wanted to see in the lettering, like in a clear lettering that I thought I could embroider, printed that out on paper. And then I just lay this membrane over top of the paper. I traced it with pencil. And then that's what I put on my fabric. When you're done your embroidery, you just kind of cut away the excess, and then you soak that, and it just disappears in the water in seconds. It's gone. You just kind of swish it around and then it's gone. So I didn't know if that's, I don't know what other people do for their embroidery, if they just freehand their letters, and I wasn't that good. So I thought if anybody out there is like not knowing about that option, that you can just put something together in Canva. And then that got me thinking, okay, well, now I have unlimited supplies, because like on the weekend, I know Sarah was doing some embroidery on one of her hand knit sweaters. It's beautiful. And it came from the embroidery book that's just up here behind my head, the Judith Gumlet book. And it does come with quite a few patterns. But then I'm thinking, okay, with Canva now, I mean, I can design anything. And then all I would do is print that out on paper. And then, so like I have unlimited ideas now for embroidery designs. And I don't know if other people do it that way or not. So this is all kind of, again, like another new little craft, I guess, to me. And I just kind of feel sort of freed by that I could come up with any little design now that I want, that I can personalize some items. And I'm thinking like all of the designs I could put on sweaters and, you know, just some other knitted things, hats, like are in the brims of hats. So yeah, I thought I would share that. Okay. What else do you have?
My last finished object is my Valentine socks by Venka Rold. And Venka Rold is the designer that did the Wilfreda sweater that we've both knit. So this was actually a free pattern. And I have been, this winter's been cold. I have been wearing my indoorsy socks that I made with the fingering weight yarn and the mohair. And the mohair socks just feel like amazing on your feet. And I wear them inside my Birkenstocks. So here are my finished Valentine socks. So these are done with Leo and Roxy natural sock in the Vixen colorway. and the Leo and Roxy soft mohair or the silk mohair in the ominous colorway. And then it is, I don't know if you can really see it, but the yarn that I've done the hearts in and the trim in is the Rico, the little tiny balls. And then I just held it with a cream colored mohair. So this is a free pattern. It's color work around here, which this is done in the round. So like if you pull that up, it's like, so really if you pull the sock up your leg, it really is like still quite a long sock. So that's done in the round. Then you do like a, and it is a free pattern, so I can tell you. And then you do like a, kind of like a row of eyelets. So you get that little picot edge when you turn it. And then the trim is done crocheted after. Now your heel is back and forth. So the heel you're doing color work flat to get this, this heart on the.
That's so cute too. That little heart on the heel. I like that.
Yeah, and then the sock, the base of this sock is like a knit 2 purl 2 rib. There's a knit 2 purl 2 rib right around here, which really makes it fit nicely on your ankle. And then it's got a toe that's kind of done like an umbrella toe where the decreases are like spaced out through the row as opposed to just at the beginning and the end of the round. So yeah, so I'm really happy with them. There was a couple of, like, I just worked out the toe length for myself because by the time I got down here, I knew that if I did their toe, it was going to end up being too long. There were a couple of mistakes, just basically, I think it's more in translation, like a part where it said the next 5 stitches, but then when you read it, it was 4 stitches or 5 stitches. I can't remember. And there was a little part where it said you were supposed to like knit 3, but it just had like an asterisk instead of the knit. So I think some of it happens in translation. But if you know how to knit a sock, it's pretty easy to go through and do it. But yeah, so this natural sock is non-superwash, so it feels really nice. It feels a little bit thicker than just like a regular sock yarn, so it's worked up to a really nice fabric there. So now that I've shown them, I'm going to wear them. They fit perfectly in my Birkenstocks, and they're I like, if you live somewhere and it's cold and your floors are cold, try to make a mohair pair of socks. And if you wear Birkenstocks, they're great inside your Birkenstocks.
Yes. Actually,
they are a little slippery without the Birkenstocks.
They are, but even like those ones do look thicker, but even like the last ones that I made for Kendall. And then I do have a pair as well. I have the hibernal socks with the mohair, which was the Summer Lee pattern. And I wear those in my Blundstone boots. They aren't too thick for that. The mohair really compresses, so they will fit like in regular footwear as well.
So, okay, that's it for finishes.
Okay.
Do you have any works in progress?
I do. I'm just reading here. Oh, Marcia says I can find a tutorial for making a matching reading pillow. Okay. I'm just marking this down. So I do have a little bit of fabric left. Okay. I do have some works in progress. Well, I have one, but I was wondering, maybe we should talk about the lights first.
Okay.
What do you think? So, okay. You got yours? You all charged up?
Yep.
So we were given something to try out, and
blind myself with it.
Yeah, don't turn it on and look into it at the same time. To try them out, and these are Knitter's lights, and the company is, there we go, LumosLumos. And yes, it comes in the cutest little crafty box, and it's extremely lightweight. I have other reading lights, but this one,
I have another one too, and it's heavier.
Yeah, and this one,
heavier.
They are super, super flexible. I absolutely really, really like it. And it has different settings. So there's a, this is the, I can't tell what.
Light.
There's a cool, there's a warm, and okay, this is the mix. I can see it in the back of my phone case. There's a cool and a warm. And then there's the cool, or no, that's a warm light. and then there's the cool light, and then, you know,
you can put them both on together if you want.
Yeah, put them both on together. And then also when you hold in, you can dim them down or brighten them up. And this is so flexible. When you charge them, there's no batteries in these lights. These are, the rechargeable is here, right here. Has a little port, comes with the charge cord. You do have to have your own cube for charging them, but I'm telling you, they're really super light and easy to use.
And it does, like, I mean, you can like pack it up pretty small too. So
yeah. And once they're charged, they stay charged for 8 hours, which is a very long time. There's lots of knitting time in 8 hours. That'll get you through pretty much any flight that you're going to travel on. And they're just great. They're really great. So we have a code too for these. I'm going to pull this up. You back in the picture too.
Yep.
So if you go onto their website for 7 days up until February the 25th, you can get 25% off if you use the code Knits and Pieces. This is, we're not receiving any compensation for telling you about these. This is our honest review. I really do like the light. I am very happy with, as I said, how light and flexible it is.
Yeah.
And it's great. If you're working on, you know, just something that you need that extra little bit of light. I was using it this week when I was doing some of the embroidery work because I do find that I need a little bit of extra light on something when I'm embroidering, but it works great on the knitting as well. It travels really easy. It won't add very much weight at all to your suitcase or your backpack or whatever it is you carry with you when you travel. And honestly, it was just very easy to use. So I highly recommend, if you're interested and you want to save a little bit of money, use this 25% off code and get a discount until February 25th. And thank you to Lumos and Lumos.
Yeah, thank you to Lumos for
sharing one of these
letting us try those. I know I have a big light that sits over where I knit at home, but like I know even when I go to some of the, like when I go to Jacqueline's, like I find their place, even with the lights on, is dark. So I need a light to go around that just to see. And it's nice because it's pointed at your knitting and not at somebody else, right? So it's...
That's right.
Yeah.
When I was camping this summer, I was using a neck light at the campfire too, right? And it's nice just to be able to take your knitting with you everywhere.
Yeah. So,
and to keep it charged, because with winter weather sometimes comes power outages, and that's our tagline. Have you got your neck light charged?
I know, when
you don't want to be knitting by candlelight.
Big storm was predicted last week. I'm like, okay, I charged my phone, I charged my iPad, and I charged my neck light.
I am ready. I'm ready. Okay. It's back.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. Are they, sorry, Joy, are they a Canadian company? No, I do not believe they are a Canadian company. Let me see what's on the box.
There was a Dumbledore quote on the box.
I'm pretty sure it was shipped to me. I'm pretty sure it was shipped to me from the States.
Okay. I don't see anything on the box.
No, I don't either. And I'm just trying to remember what my shipping notice said. It did come out pretty quickly though. I think once it was shipped, it was maybe 3 or 4 days. So I did receive it pretty quickly. Okay.
Okay. So now we're talking about whips.
Yes. Oh, no, I have one other thing too. Sylvie says that the power went out for almost 2 hours last evening and she was glad that she had her Lumos light.
Yes.
So,
yes. So.
Oh, and Hilda is saying that the brand she has does not stay in place. Any thoughts on that? I've used this one. I haven't had any issues with that. As I said, this one is definitely, I have 2 others that I have purchased through other companies. They weren't specifically listed as knitters lights. They were just neck lights. And I find that this one by far is the most flexible, and it does stay in place once I use it. Okay.
Okay. So
I have one last comment to show. I did not know this was a thing. I'm sorry. Lisa says they have a knitting night at the movies in Burlington the first Monday of every month, and everyone has necklights. I did not know there was such a thing. That is a lot of fun.
Because I'm not sure in a regular movie theater if people would be thrilled if you had a necklight on.
No, I don't think so.
It's still going to cast some light.
Yeah.
So, but if you're in a theater full of knitters, then obviously you're golden.
Okay.
Okay. So, whips.
Whips.
Okay, so
I have a whip.
Whip. I have 4. Okay, so my first whip is my Sew You 3 vest, and this is the pattern that is by Lil Frostman. That the original pattern is in Norwegian, and I put it through Google Translate, and I've got a little bit more done. So I'm just working on the stocking stitch, and I'm loving how this yarn is working up in the stocking stitch too. Like, it's really, really a nice yarn. This is the Ancient Arts Lascaux Fine. So basically, I would say it's kind of a heavier fingering weight yarn. So I've got all the cabled portion done, and this, let me just show you what the pattern looks like. Okay, so this is probably what I'm going to end up doing. I think I'm going to do the crossover tie. There's also a version that just has the buttons, 3 buttons down the front. So basically, I'm almost at the point now where, because it's not a really long vest, it only probably goes to about your hip bone. So I'm actually at the point now where I'm almost ready to split for the armholes. And then I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to wrap it around myself and just see. And again, because you're going bottom up, it's a little bit harder to get an exact fit on it. Yeah. But I am enjoying the yarn. I don't know how much I'll enjoy knitting those ties for the side, but anyway, so far I'm really loving how it looks. The back has the cables. The back has the cables. The cable just widens up a bit, but then the cables go up the back of the sweater as well. So yeah, I really want to see if, I think Ancient Arts is at Knit City, Montreal. I want to see what other colors they have in this yarn. I do think they have gorgeous colors in it.
Yeah, so it's beautiful. Yeah, it really does show the cables well.
Alternating skeins. So because it's back and forth, it's easy to alternate just at the beginning of one of the cables.
Yeah.
So that is my first one. I'll do another one before you go. So my second one is, I'm still working on my, not only do I have my mini socks, I also have my Christmas socks that I'm doing for everyone. So the second pattern that I'm doing is called D'Artagnan by Kuua Coffee. And let me just grab it here. So I'm only on sock 1, so I got to get knitting because I got to get this done by the end of February.
Yes, we're at the 18th, and February is a short month.
I know. So there is what the pattern looks like so far. So it's got kind of like offset cables that go down, and then a alternating garter rib that goes down the middle of it. So I've got the heel flap done on this one, the heel flap and the heel turn. So the heel flap actually is in 2x2 rib, and you actually slip on the other side. So I've never done a heel flap like that before, but it feels nice and squishy. And when you block it out,
it looks really good. I like it.
I really like how it looks. I think when you stretch it out, it's going to be fine inside of a sock. Now, when you get to the end of this, what happens was, before I had to split for doing the heel, you have to divide up to get your pattern correct, so that you kind of got like in this little garter section here, the same number of stitches on each side. So I don't know what I did, but when I came back to do it, my pattern wasn't at the same place on each side. So I ended up just doing some short rows back and forth to even everything up. I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to go or not, but I just ended up doing some short rows back and forth to even it up, and everything's all back on the right track now. And that could have just been me not reading the pattern correctly. These are free patterns. So yeah, and the yarn is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply, which I think shows off texture in socks really nicely.
Really well.
It's a nice,
really well.
And it's a nice hard wearing yarn. And the color for this one is called Pacific.
Very nice.
Okay.
So the big news this week is that I have been able to start doing a little knitting again.
Good.
Which I'm pretty happy about. And I had been working, I had a sweater that I needed to redo the waistband on. I wasn't happy. I don't normally go down needle sizes in it. But this one, I should have gone down a needle size when I did the waistband, and I found that it was flipping up, and it was really annoying me and prohibiting me from wearing the sweater the way I wanted to wear it. So before Christmas, I cut it out because it had mohair in it. So I cut it off and started again. And I was about 3 rows from finishing when this happened. And so there it has sat, mocking and taunting me, saying you're 3 rows and you can't do it. So this week I decided, because I have been doing like a fair bit of the crocheting and that hasn't hurt too much. So I thought, okay, it's time to ease back in. So I picked up the sweater and I finished it. I wear my brace when I'm knitting. So I've graduated to a brace where I have full thumb movement and my hand is exposed. So it just stabilizes my wrist because any turning motion on the wrist is still quite painful. So if I can keep the wrist, straight, going just this direction, all is good. So I finished the sweater. I felt quite accomplished. And then I thought, all right, so now I want to cast on something, because I have other things I could definitely be knitting, but why work on something that I was already knitting when I could cast on something new? So I cast on a sock last night, and it's a sock very similar. Well, it's pretty much the same as the one that I made for Kendall, which the idea came from the Indoorsy sock from Sonder Yarn Company, but then I ended up changing why? I changed a bunch of things on it, like the heel and the way I did the toe, just different from the way the pattern was written. So I don't even really know if it's the Indoorsy sock, but it is the Indoorsy sock because it has mohair and a fingering weight held together. Look at this. Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah.
I just twisted my wrist. There we go. Okay. Very nice. I had this idea. Okay. After I made those gorgeous mohair socks for Kendall, this I knew I wanted to do next for myself, and then got injured and I couldn't do it. So those beautiful stripy mohair socks that I gifted away are gone. And I've had this one stuck in my head since before Christmas. So this is the, is it Memories of Hudson Bay or Hudson Bay Memories? It's by Biscott Yarns. Okay. And it's the Canadian Hudson Bay Company colors. Yeah. So it's the gold, the red, the green, and the navy blue. And I'm just holding it with a natural mohair. And this feels so nice. It feels so nice. Now, my brain is telling me that I really want to be knitting this on a 9-inch circular needle. And I don't think there will be any 9-inch circular needle knitting in my near future, just because I think that might be part and parcel of how I got myself into the problem in the first place. So I need to be knitting on something that's a little bit bigger and that's not crimping my hand down. So I am doing this on, well, not even 2 16s, because I only had one 16. These are a 3 millimeter needle and I only had one 16. So the other one, I think this might be I don't know, maybe a 20 or a 24. Okay. It's one that I made. Yeah, I'm guessing it's a 20.
Well, don't you have your little sets? Don't you have that little red set from Chai?
Yeah, but those are small needles, and that's what I'm staying away from.
They go up to a 3, and you can put a bigger cord in it. You could put
the needles this big.
Oh, the needle tip. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying I'm trying to stay on needles that are comfortable in my hands and that I'm not crinched down on. But I have to say, I'm not enjoying the 2 needle thing. Maybe if I had 2 matching needles that weren't clickety clacking all the time, maybe it would be better. But the whole time I'm knitting this, I'm thinking, oh, I'd be doing this so much faster on a 9-inch circular.
You don't want to do it magic loop?
No, magic loop is my least favorite way.
I did my mohair socks on a 3 doing magic loop.
No, I'll tough it out this way. Yeah, I could put it on a magic loop and I no, I don't like doing magic. Okay. I don't. But anyway, I'm excited to be knitting again. And I realize this is just, a sock, but I am ready to start the heel after that next cream color.
So is the heel going to be gold too?
No, I'm going to hope for the best, because when I did the other ones, I just willy-nilly plowed through and the stripes worked out perfectly. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. And I have no idea if this will work this time. So I'm going to finish off this little cream row here so that I start the heel with a color. And my goal is that after I do the heel turn, I'll be ready to start a color, because then the top of the sock will have the cream and I'll go right into a color. It may not be the next color and pattern. I get that. That's fine too. But as long as it's not a green stripe, which it can't be, it won't be. And I may have to fudge something, because I will definitely want it to end at a certain point. And if that doesn't work out, then I'll just be sadly disappointed that the first time was the charm and it can't be duplicated. But we'll see how it goes. I am happy to be knitting again, and I am looking forward to getting back into some of the projects that I left behind in December. So that's what I worked on last night.
Okay. My next work in progress is a test knit that I'm doing for Jennifer Shields Tolan. So this is the Enola V. And here's where I am.
Very nice.
So last time I think
love that shoulder detail.
I really like it. Last time I had just kind of joined after the sleeves. So now I am doing some waist shaping in this. So down the side, you've got that same band. I can't hold it out right here. You've got that same band, like that's kind of like in the sleeve detail.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am now on I've done the decreases to get to the waist, and now I'm on the increases to go out again. And I have enough yarn. I am using Bio Balance by BC Garn.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a really nice yarn. It's 55% wool and 45% cotton. So far, all I've used so far is I've still got this much left of my second skein. And these are 50-gram skeins.
Wow.
So that's great. Going super far. It feels really good. I'm on a 3.25 millimeter needle. And I am going to do, Jen's included an option in the pattern for doing long sleeves. So I have 5 of these. So I'm thinking with 5 of these, I should have enough to do like full long sleeves.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I think that's what I'm going to do. But it does have a really cute option in it too, where it's just like a little bit of a cuff on here, like for a summer top. Mm-hmm. But I thought if I have enough, it would be a nice sweater to wear like in the summer, like in the evening time, because of the fiber composition of it. But I've got enough yarn, so I might as well do the long sleeves. So yeah, so I'm really enjoying that, both the yarn and the pattern. The pattern's very well written. Mm-hmm. She also has details in it on if you want to reinforce the back neck with a crochet edge. So I might try that, although I've tried it on and it fits perfectly and the neck's fine. So we'll see. I still might do it just so to prevent any stretching maybe.
Yeah, it looks great. I really like that color too. It's very nice.
I bought that the first time I ever went to Espace Tricot, which was when Ross and I were going out east. And I'm like, we should stop in Montreal.
Yeah, we should. We just totally should.
Anyway, and then my last whip, I have gotten back to my Lauder by Rebecca Clow. And I do have a picture to kind of show you what the Lauder looks like. So this pattern comes with various different options. She's got the V-neck cardigan. I believe there might be a round neck cardigan. There's a V-neck pullover, a round neck pullover. Sweater. There's a V-neck vest. So there's lots of options. It's a DK weight yarn. And I am doing mine in this yarn here. This is Drops Daisy, which I saw is on sale right now.
On sale. I was thinking
although there's
about
no colors left.
No, I know there's no colors.
Like no colors
when
left.
I saw that come out this morning, there were no colors this morning when the sale came out. When I saw that this morning, I thought Noelle did something in Daisy, and I went in and I spent time looking in your project page, and I couldn't find anything. And I'm like, what the heck? I know she used it.
There's no picture of it in there yet.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So this is the Drops Daisy. It is 100% merino, but it's non-superwash. Now I have heard people say that it pills, so I'm not at that point yet, so I don't know whether that's going to happen. But
I would expect that though from 100% merino.
100% merino, that's right. It's on sale at Wool Warehouse. It's a website in the UK.
Yes, also on sale. So there's five Drops yarns that are on sale at Wool Warehouse. One of them is the Drops Alaska, which I did a sweater in. That's the sweater I wore to work today. And that is also 100%. It's an Aran weight wool. And I highly recommend it. It's very affordable. Then also is the Drops Nord. which I think Tracy
It's
uses for
alpaca
socks.
and wool. I've
And
used it.
I
I've
was
used it
going to
for Ross's
order
socks.
some just because I wanted to try some for socks, although I will have to be careful because with alpaca, they could felt, but I want to try it because Tracy says I should, and I want to.
Ross has got a pair in Nord.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Drops Fable, which is another sock yarn. And then the, have we said them all? Daisy.
The Daisy. And there was one more. It was one that had like,
yeah.
It had colors in it.
The Sparkles, the DK sock yarn.
Yeah.
It's called Festive, I think. And also missing a bunch of colors in that too. So
I know. So I think the sale's on for at least another 10 days.
10 days.
So they might actually get more in. So
yes.
Not that I need more because I do have another sweater quantity in this.
I know, but I want to try that Drops Nord, if nothing else. And they had a good supply of the Drops Nord. And I think that's what you said, right, Tracy? That's the sock yarn that you like the best. So I wanted to try that out.
Anyway, so here's.
It looks gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
I got the bottom hem done, but like, even if this yarn is going to pill, like, look at the stitch definition that you get.
It's beautiful.
This yarn. So I just love it. The pattern, it looks more complicated than it is. It actually is easy to remember, easy to know what you're doing. It's got this really neat detail on the back shoulders.
That looks really sharp. I like that so much. Yeah.
The cable going down here for the shoulders. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. Again, I had put it away because I was knitting it and then it was warm. So I put it away, but now I'm ready to get back to it. And like I said, like her patterns, like the value for the pattern, like that is amazing to get all those variations.
That many sweater options.
I think it would,
for one pattern.
It would look great in a vest. Like this stitch pattern would look great in a vest.
Absolutely.
So this is, again, as I said, this is the Drops Daisy, and this colorway is number 24. And I believe the translation is cobalt. So it is like a cobalt blue, but yeah, really like it. So.
Very nice.
Okay. So that's all of my whips.
Someone mentioned about this pattern that they could use their Samoyed dog yarn. Yes, you totally could. I also have a skein of that Samoyed yarn that I keep forgetting to get back to and to try, because you've used it in a hat, right? And it would, I think, or no, you made socks with it too, did you not?
Yep.
Because it was the red yarn, blue yarn, red sock, blue
sock.
Red sock, blue sock, and held the Samoyed yarn with it. And so, yeah, that would totally work too. But it's just cozy. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Did you buy anything?
I did not this week, but we forgot to mention that we got these.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I put mine away already.
I haven't even opened mine yet because it came to us when we were at the coffee shop, and Julia opened hers, so I saw hers. But I'll open mine with you all here tonight. So this was the Leo and Roxy sock kit, the Bella sock kit that we ordered, and it came at the end of the month, and we were lucky enough to have Sarah pick them up for us and carry them to us for a Saturday knit session. So it's just so pretty the way they package everything up. I thought I would save it when I needed something to brighten my day. Not that I needed that today, but anyway, it's very pretty. Sorry for the ruffling. So here's what we got. The colors are gorgeous. This is one of their signature colors. It's called McSteamy, and it's like a tonal gray. Very beautiful. McSteamy, named after
Grey's Anatomy.
I couldn't think of the name. Dr. McSteamy. Yeah. And then here are the two coordinating colors to go with it. Nice bright pops of color. I love the way that looks together. I think
like the way they look together
really. Oh, I should put it up this way so you can see. I love the colors together. I think that will make some beautiful, beautiful socks. And it came with a pattern for these sweet tart socks. And there's a picture right there. It's got a very interesting cuff on it, like a garter stitch with a nice, I'm trying to see if it's a slip stitch or a color work stitch. I can't really tell, but anyway, it's very pretty. I think it would look really nice in these colors. So I'm probably going to give that a try.
And there's lots of yarn there to knit, like probably a couple of pairs of socks.
Easily a couple of pairs of socks.
It's like 100-gram skein of the McSteamy, and then you've got another 2 20-gram minis. So you've got 140 grams of yarn.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I do believe there was still some available on their website. So.
I think so. And they actually just dyed up a batch, and I'm trying to think, did you see the post with the new color? Oh, I had it in my head before I started talking about this. It's a really, really beautiful color, and I highly recommend to go in there and have a look at it. Yeah, it's very pretty. So I'm excited about this. So pretty. Okay.
So we should maybe quickly talk about the 2 knit-alongs that we have going.
Let me see if I can pull that up for us. Probably not. Nope.
Okay. I will pull it up. Maybe.
I keep seeing these things on Instagram about how I'm definitely going to stop buying yarn this month. I won't buy a single skein of yarn on February 29th, 30th, or 31st, or I'm going to give up knitting on the 29th, 30th, and 31st. This is our shortest month of the year. And I
don't think I've bought any. I might have. I don't know. I was going to say I don't think I bought any in February, but I'm not sure when I did that knitting loft order. It might have been in February.
Here's what I have to say. The month is not over, and I might need some of that drop Nord. So, okay.
Anyway, we first of all got our year-long sock make-along. So you just need to knit socks. You don't even need to knit them all in 1 month. You just need to finish socks, and they can be worsted weight. They can be DK weight. They can be the ones held with mohair. Yes, and we do 2 prizes every month. So, and when we draw, we go back to the beginning of the month. So any socks that you've entered, back to the beginning of the year. So any socks that you've entered from January 1st on will be included in all of the draws that we do up to the end of the year. So the more socks you get in there, the sooner you get them in there, the more chances that you have to win. And we have both a pattern prize and a sock yarn prize every month. Natalie, who is Natalie Sheldon _remembrances.
Yes. One of these weeks, Natalie will get it right.
She generously supports the podcast and gives us a pattern prize to give away every month. And then we also have a sock yarn prize every month. So it's amazing to see all the socks in there. I mean, I know I'm enjoying knitting my little socks, but I'm also enjoying knitting the other socks. I definitely want another pair of mohair ones. So I might have to go look at my self-striping, Kelly, and see what I've got left and if I can do another pair, because they knit up quickly.
They do.
Because they're like a lot faster than a regular
pair. Like I said, I cast
socks.
this on last night. That was, it's very, very fast.
And they're actually, I have enjoyed wearing them so much. So
yeah,
I might have to do that. So,
yeah.
Okay. And the other one that we have going
is our Not Selfish Knitter Make-Along, which is running until March the 31st. Started in January. Gift knitting is finished. This is a chance for you to cast on something for yourself. I'm being totally selfish with this pair of mohair socks. They are not going to anybody but me. And it's just an opportunity for you to do something for yourself after all of the things that you did for others last year. And if still knitting for somebody else is still your jam, that is what you get your joy from, that's okay too. It can be any project that you want to make. It just needs to have a 50-gram minimum, and no whips are allowed. It has to be cast on January 1st or later. Okay. So we will draw for that at the end of March. So you still have lots of time, a month and 10 days, lots of time to do something.
And if you're doing like those mohair socks, you can enter them in both the sock make-along, and if you're knitting them for you, then you can enter them in the self knitter make-along too.
For sure. Yeah.
So
okay.
I think that's it.
That was a lot. We were an hour and a half tonight. It's a little bit long.
We were chatty.
So thanks for sticking with us, friends. If you've been here from the beginning, and
and thank you again to everybody who's joined us, and for everybody that watches after the fact. We really appreciate you coming and sticking with us week after week. And
yes, it means a lot. It really does.
It does. So,
and the comments, the lovely comments, and how exciting it is. I saw so much chatter tonight going on in the thread.
I know.
Excuse me, amongst yourselves. And that just really, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. It warms my heart too.
It does.
that you could make friends on here. You know, there are like so many negative things that people could say about the internet, but this Knit Chat is not one of them. This is where good friends come to spend some time together, and I enjoy these weekly visits every single week.
I know. And it's really nice that the internet has allowed us the opportunity to connect with people like this.
Yes. And even through the last couple of months when I haven't been able to knit, thank you for indulging me with my other crafty endeavors and for following along and, you know, not being
upset. I think knitters are
I...
basically crafty people and have all sorts of different hobbies. That's right. That's right. So
absolutely. Yes. So it's been really fun.
Take care, everybody. Have an amazing week. Stay warm, or cool if you're in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yes.
And we will see you next week. Happy knitting.
Bye.